And dude, like I've been having what has literally made my month is how much time I get to spend with you lately.
Oh yeah, it's been amazing.
This is cool.
Yeah,
Oh, we had a great weekend.
we did.
And you kind of welcomed me into the world of improv,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't get enough of it.
So good.
And I think I always had a passion for it since I was a kid because I used to always watch Wayne Brady and Whose Line Is It Anyways, and I loved that show.
Yeah.
You know, and I think everybody did, right? Do you remember were you a big Chappelle Show fan?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Dave Chappelle, I forget what character he's playing, but he said Wayne Brady makes Brian Gumbel look like Malcolm X.
yeah. And then what was that whole skit where they were riding around with Wayne Brady and Wayne Brady killed somebody or something? He was all gangster.
Yeah. He's like super gangster. Yeah. God, I love it. But anyways, it started to really make me think about like communication and like our communication skills, right? And some of one of the exercises we did at brunch with our wives was it really had me thinking of how much deeper I want to go into this, because since then, and I've been, it's like crazy when you dwell on a topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all part of manifesting, right? But when you really dwell on a topic and all of a sudden, like, when it's something that's positive, right? And something that will definitely like bring your craft together, your mind like fires differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's the whole purpose of the exercises themselves, the team building and all the skill set building, exercises that is in improv. But you really opened my eyes to it. And now it's like all I can think about. So now I keep thinking about different ways to make myself think sharper, think quicker. And
awesome.
And it's just in manifesting that and not even actually practicing it quite yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're gonna do a class together. We're gonna do more improv together.
Fuck,
for sure.
yeah.
It's gonna be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked
Super
about
fun.
that. You've done a number of them now.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Second City for 2 years and just found it absolutely life-changing. And I've done it now, at 50 plus events, and I've had literally 100 plus members of the Los Angeles Dodgers up running improv, and I've done it with the Twins, done it with a few different teams. It's so important, dude. What it teaches you. Yeah,
the one that we've talked about it a number of times, but the one thing that I really picked up was the signaling and the obviously nonverbal communication,
mm-hmm.
and then voice inflection. And I teach voice inflection a lot in my prior sales, when I did a lot of sales training and things like that, and like voice inflection of like bringing someone in on a secret. Right. Like no one needs to know about
mm-hmm.
this. And then, and knowing how to use those and when to use those. But in this setting, this was like a very descriptive way and very animated way of bringing somebody to a fruition.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so powerful. And I guess that's why it's been on my mind so much. And it's like, and I think people, they don't see the value in it until they've been in circumstances like this.
Yeah.
Go to a foreign country.
Yeah.
Where you can't communicate to anybody.
Right. True.
Just trying to get your point across towards somebody so thick-headed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that these are tools that, on the team building side, sure. But just on like your own power building side, just on your own, your own presence. Yeah.
Well, there's two things you mentioned there. So in terms of communication, there's, what you alluded to, like that you were doing in car dealerships and whatnot. So there's 5 things. The world's greatest vocal coach, Roger Love, teaches these: pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume.
Okay.
And so you always kind of want to modulate those, right? And so most people who don't really study or work on communication will just have one default way of talking. Usually it's just kind of monotone or whatever, or maybe you're more confident. So you speak loud and fast. Maybe you're an East Coast guy like me, you speak, but like any of those will bore someone eventually.
Right.
So you have to learn to take a pause, slow down, and be like, yo, I'm going to tell you something. Nobody knows this, but here's the thing, right? And then you get excited about stuff, and I'm talking about Wu-Tang versus Rakim versus Nas. Like you got to take anyone you're in a conversation with on a ride. And, especially if you're talking to a group of people, especially if, let's say you're at a party and you want to make a connection, but there's 20 other interesting people, why are you going to stand here and talk to me if I'm just monotone? You know what I mean? There's another fun game. We should have played it. We'll play it. It's called Emote Control. So it's basically like if someone doesn't know those 5 things, they may also not know just how to, and they might not be comfortable. Like I've coached a lot of guys who aren't comfortable sharing emotion, right? So it's a really fun game. So say I give you a book, or let's say you give me a book, right? And so I'm reading Of Mice and Men or whatever, and I'm just reading it out loud, and then you have a list of emotions, and you say them to me, and then now in front of an audience, you go diabolical, so I got to go, oh, and then he ran to the thing, like, you know what I mean? And then you go angry, and then I'm like, the fucking guy said to him, you know, like, and so it just gets you more out of your comfort zone with like displaying emotion.
You see that actually in like modern, in like, you know, in adult animation shows like South Park shows, like, you know what I mean? And they'll resort to that, like that diabolical, and it's like completely, you know, Rick and Morty. You ever watch that show?
No, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable that in that show, and I don't want to, this isn't meant to be about Rick and Morty, but like a lot of the stuff that, you know, when you mention things like this brings me to like different episodes, different situations where they use that. And it shouldn't be a surprise that that's one of the most binge watched animation shows, adult animation shows there are.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But all of those levels of communication are exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. People don't get it, and they need to be opened up to this kind of stuff. I think people look at stuff and they're like, oh, that's fucking stupid and like whatever. And it's like, no, this is what separates like decent communicators to great communicators.
Yeah.
And I deal with a lot of people, like you were saying, that are monotone. It's fucking boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring. And maybe I'm overwhelming, maybe I'm overbearing, but I would rather at least be able to keep someone's attention and get my point across and make them feel heard and make them feel special than be boring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, how are you going to get anything you want in life if you can't communicate effectively?
Right.
Yeah. So, and sometimes, again, people will negate it. Like you said, oh, it's stupid. Why do I have to work on that? I'll just work on the business stuff. I'll work on this. It's like, yeah, but if you can't communicate, you're operating at 30%.
Right. What do you have? That's what I never want to be known as. Oh, that guy's chill.
Yeah.
I don't want to be chill.
Right. Yeah.
Be fucking chill.
Yeah. That guy ain't got no chill. That's what I prefer.
Yeah. He's intense.
Yeah.
Someone came at me the other day and was like, you think that approach is going to work? And I said, well, when you're asking me to get something done, you're going to definitely appreciate it. Right?
Yep.
He said, fair enough. Dude, you know, we got some exciting projects planned. And, you know, without, disclosing too much, I until I didn't really even start entertaining this idea of, you know, getting men together collectively. And I've seen it done, but you really ignited another thing in me, and that is community building in an in-person level. I think I've gotten comfortable.
Yeah. Yep. There's no comparison. I mean, you know, obviously the internet's great and our ability to connect with people. You and I wouldn't know each other if it weren't for that, but like there's nothing like meeting people in person. That's why when I was like, I got to run an idea by you, I'll drive down. I anytime. I mean, sometimes I'll get in a flight before I'll talk to someone. Yeah. Like, not that I'm opposed to talking to someone on Zoom or the phone, but like the power of in-person connection.
No, 100%. Yeah. And this has been like probably one of the most productive like days where we've actually like laid groundwork.
Yeah.
And it is because it is in person. And I you know, sometimes we take it for granted that we have Zoom and we have all these things, but like, again, this is like, in a way, you don't even realize it, but you're mentoring me in so many different ways, right? And I really appreciate you for that. I really appreciate our friendship for that. But at the same time, I'm like, now my eyes are starting to get open to other things. And is that going to divert me from my course? Of course not. I'm very.
Yeah.
You said it the other day. You asked, or you said you're ADD, aren't you? And I said, yeah. I go, you too. You said, I like you.
Like, not that bad.
Yeah, not that bad. Is that bad?
No, but I pick up on things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve, am I pretty ADD?
Yeah, you're 100% in every direction all the time.
God damn. Well, that is what it is. I've accepted it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm stoked about this.
Oh yeah.
You've had really good success in the past, and I like watching that. And meeting your homie Brian the other night was great too.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you, man, he tests you. I don't know if he knows it.
Yeah, I don't think
if he watches this, he's gonna be like, "What the fuck is Justin talking about?" I don't.
Nah, it's just his jersey coming out.
Is it that?
Yeah. Yeah.
East Coast people are different, man.
Yeah.
I remember when we moved from Michigan to Maine, and we were like West Michigan, like, you know, very conservative. And then we moved out to New England, and, you know, it was like a culture shock for my mother. Bro, my mom, I told you a little bit about my mom, right? Born on a farm, very conservative, very
And
sheltered.
even Maine was a culture shock. It's not like you moved to New York City.
Yeah. I think, you know, Portland, Maine, you know, it wasn't like, it's not hip, it's dated as hell, but at the same time, like the attitude, the East Coast, you know, the accent, the pace, different.
Yeah.
You know? And
do you think I have an accent or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know I can, if I close my eyes, I'd be like, oh, that guy's from, you know, Bronx, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Do I have an accent?
A little. Yeah. Certain words for sure.
It's crazy. My brother, like, because he spent most of his childhood in Maine, so he had a New England accent.
Oh, okay.
And then he lost it eventually, you know, spending the rest of his childhood in Michigan.
Yeah.
You know.
Like where he was saying, like, Park the Cod?
Park the Cod, all of it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My dad's name's Todd. You know, it's Todd.
Oh, okay.
I call my dad Todd.
Yeah.
I'd be like, it's fucking weird. Yeah. Fuck. This is fun. This is really fun. This is what the shit's all about, right? Planning, plotting, scheming.
Yeah, I love it.
Getting it out there.
Yeah.
How's being back in California?
It's fucking great. I missed it. I think, you know, we've discussed this. So there's, in my opinion, there's nowhere better else to live. I know people are like, well, how they run the fucking state, and yeah, I get it, but there's problems everywhere. You're not going to beat the weather. There's so many things that you're not going to beat. But to me, it holds a special place because I moved here with the intention of reinventing myself, eliminating all, you know, false narrative, self-limiting beliefs. That was my mission coming here. And I did that. And like, I, you know, 5x my income, 10x my confidence, and had just had so many unbelievable life experiences here where it was like I was living fantasy camp. Like every day, the things that are happening, the people I'm meeting.
Right.
I got
this
here.
was your first time moving here.
My first time moving here.
So would you say that you were reborn in Southern California?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yep.
No one here has ever seen me drunk. No one here has ever seen me fucked up.
That's crazy.
You know,
wow.
Everybody here knows me as like the reborn version of myself. Now, the prior version, 1.0, was a fun time. Great person. Always the same heart, same whatever. But the opportunity here, the community, the people, just everything.
Yep.
I can relate with you right there.
Yeah.
So it's not shocking that you would have like the drive to bring that back.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Once I mean, again, so 10 years here were amazing. My thing was a little bit different where I had never touched weed until I turned 40. And then, I'm sorry, 39. 39, Bedros is a month earlier than me. He's one of my good friends. And so we said, let's blow out our 30s, you know, our last summer of our 30s. And so that summer was the first time I ever touched weed. And we got insanely high at Craig Ballantyne's thing, to the point where we were like on another planet. And he tells his fucking story on his podcast.
Okay.
That,
are we allowed to talk about this?
Yeah. He tells the story that I got him super high, and he makes me look like Seth Rogen or Snoop Dogg or something. I'm like,
yeah.
Bro, that was the first time I ever fucking touched weed. You've been smoking weed since you were 13. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, really?
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
I didn't know that. I thought you were like, because I pictured you guys both as like, you know, pushing 40.
Yeah.
Like smoking weed together for the first time. Like that would be hilarious.
No,
me.
so he hadn't really had weed in years though. To be fair.
Okay.
Yeah. But he had smoked it as a kid forever.
Okay.
He was making it seem like I was the guy who got him high for the first time. I mean, he was higher than he's ever been in his life. Like he had to go up to his room. I was texting him. He's like, dude, I'm Velcroed to the bed. I can't move.
I know that feeling. Actually. Yeah. That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
And yeah. It's just that it was a funny image that I had in my head. It was like two men like lighting their first joint. Grown men smoke weed. So funny.
Yeah.
I remember we were in college, and bro, I was Snoop Dogg. Like 13, 14 blunts a day, every day since I was like, 17.
Wow.
All the way up until I was like probably 32.
Wow.
Was like, Dutch.
That's
like we were talking about
not
Dutch
a small
masters.
amount of blunts.
No, yeah, half ounce, quarter ounce.
Wow.
Plus, sometimes an ounce a day.
Yeah.
like
Jesus.
a lot. And I pushed it and shit too, right?
Mhm.
You know, just to support my habit, right? But and every pothead is in some way, shape, or form a drug dealer too. It's just how good they are at it. I wasn't very good at it. But we would go to we'd go back to like a buddy's house or whatever, like to a cottage or something like that, lake house, and you know, their dads would be there and they'd be like, "Hey, I got a joint," and we'd be like, "Okay." So we have like 50, like, you know, you'd be like, "Oh, I got it," and you'd like go back and like pull up his spare tire and like pull one joint from under his spare tire. We're like, "Dog, like, you know," we were blazing the whole way up here in the car, like, you know, it is funny when older guys find weed, right? Or they've always had it, they just kept it, you know, sealed and whatever. Nowadays it's like, you know, we live in Huntington Beach, the whole city smells like weed, and I just don't smoke it anymore. It's like, you know, I kind of that drug was like the easiest to lose.
So you won't touch weed now?
No. I don't. But no, it's not that was, you know, I don't believe that. I don't think weed is bad. At all. I think it's a great drug. I think that people should use it if they need it, and even if you want to have a good time, it's a hell of a lot better than drinking.
For sure.
Weed doesn't destroy families. Weed doesn't kill people. So on. I have no problem with weed. I don't need it. I don't need it. It was like my goal in sobriety was to find something better than mind altering substance. It was like, I'll tell you a story. I've told this story before. I used to go to like these like events, like with a bunch of other guys that were in the same industry as me, very successful dudes. And there was one cat, his name was Ryan. Okay. And he was the sharpest dude, best looking, jacked, you know, one of the most successful out of all of us. And he never did a drug or drank in his entire life, had no desire to, but the dude was the life of the party. Women fucking loved him, everything. And my homies and I, we were friends with him and everything, great friends with him. And he was cool. Like we were, he'd come and hang out with us when we party and stuff like that. And once it started getting like a lot of cocaine in my life and things like that, you know, me and a few buddies would go to the bathroom, blow lines, stuff like that, and come back out. And there was one day that he stopped me like dead in my tracks as I was walking out of the bathroom. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm doing a fucking blow, man. Like, you know what the fuck I'm doing." He's like, "Bro, you're going to blow your life up." And those words meant nothing to me, but it was how crystal clear his eyes were. It was like, those eyes have never seen anything. Like, he was so intense all the time, so focused, you know, communicating, just, you know, conversation just flowed with him. Like everything was, and I wanted that. I was like, he has something different. And later on in life and in my sobriety, I found out what he has. And it's a mental clarity that, you know, and just like this, like intensity that I have now.
Right. Wow.
But the words meant nothing. Being approached, being cornered, none of that meant anything. It was him having something I wanted. That's what actually was. And it was that level of intensity where like you can like verbally and like just by looking at somebody undress them. It was like, that was cool to me. It's like that mental sharpness is something else. And the minute I found that, I became really addicted to that. Right.
That's super dope. So now, even in the world we live in where, you know, the 24-hour news cycle, all the things that are unnatural to us as humans, is there never a time where you, at the end of the day, like, I just need to shut my fucking brain off, and like an edible would be, not that you do it now, but like, do you get to that point where you're like, fuck, this is...
No, the truth is I exhaust myself so bad every single day that I'm going to bed, I'm done. I go to bed early. You know, and I have like a process. I wear a CPAP, and you know, the minute I get my breathing right, I don't have any trouble sleeping. So no, like, you know, I wake up really early. I usually train at 5 in the morning. You know, I'm usually in the parking lot of the gym by 4:30, putting out some stuff, getting kind of stuff organized, and then you know, I'm so fucking exhausted by the end of the day, and I don't usually shut down. Like, these guys will tell you, I'm like fucking boom, boom all the time. Have to be.
Right.
Because I backed myself into a corner. I posted something in Threads today. And I basically said, it's hard to miss. It's easy to never miss when you're always backed into a corner. And I do. I just always back myself into a corner. It's like, I got to get the fuck out of the situation.
I love that.
Right? I think that we can agree like that level of discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
It forces you to be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, anytime I like buy something really expensive that I definitely shouldn't buy, I'm like, okay, I just got to make more money. I got to figure the fuck out.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really like what it has come down to for me is like, you know, just it's easy to stay on task if I just am always starting something new.
Yep.
Projects.
Yeah.
So when you pitched me this thing, I'm like fucking down. I'm like, I'll get and you couldn't have picked a better person to do it because I'm an addict. I'm a fucking addict. I'll like, you know, you give me a taste of this and I'm like, this worked out really well. Let's just fucking run this every week.
Right.
Like, bro, I can't keep up. Like, and I know you can, so it makes it makes life easy.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Anytime a project comes up that I'm like, now I see a vision. Especially when I have a project where I enjoy doing it with that person. Right? Yeah. You know, that's why like with Scotty and I like why like we do everything together. You know, he's 2,300 miles away. Yeah. But for whatever reason, like, you know, the two of us are able to always like plot, plan, put it together, and then execute, and we make it work. And being that far away, right? Yeah. You know, and we were good friends growing up, and
yeah, that's great. That seems like such a great synergistic, symbiotic relationship you guys have. Yeah, that's awesome.
He has to sometimes call me out and put me in, and then I have to turn him up sometimes. But it's like a perfect yin yang. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Why he's a little bit more kind of even keeled than you are, I guess.
Yeah. He called me out today on some shit that I said in my storyline that I probably came off a little arrogant. It's like, that's not you. I was like, you're right. It's not me. Yeah. So just good to put me on my spot. Yeah. You got someone like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think you have to have those kind of, I love having those kind of relationships. I'm fortunate with Bedros, with Luca, with a handful of people like that. Yeah.
Are they actively looking to call you out?
No, but
I don't mean nitpicking, but what I mean is like they watch you perform. Yeah. Yeah.
More people. Like one of my favorite moments was I mean, I like when I'm on the other side of it. Like I feel like you're like this too. Like other people that are close to you, their success you get more excited for. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like one time we were at an event and I spoke, and I mean, honestly, I was getting laughs like Chappelle. Like I was like, yo, I'm fucking crushing up here. Yeah. And then Luca wanted to go up. Now Luca's from Slovenia, so like, you know, Eastern Bloc country people aren't known for their sense of humor and whatnot.
Right.
And
well, so just being from a different country, it's hard. The humor is different.
Yeah. And so Luca worked really hard for 2 or 3 years, hanging out with me and Mike. You'll meet Mike. And we just have this crazy rapport, right? Like, and we can't even talk to each other seriously. It's just like nonstop joking around. Yeah. So Luca kind of worked on it, and he was that day he spoke, and he kind of just like fucked up the punchline or like got nervous when he was telling jokes on stage. So he was going to speak again the next day. So he was dropping me off at the hotel, and we sat there in his car, and I challenged him. I said, dude, you fucked up today. You didn't do what you wanted to do. I know you want to get more laughs than that. I know you wanted to pause more before you hit that punchline. I know you want to be more animated. I know you want to do all these things. I was like, fucking do it tomorrow. And then he got up and crushed it. And then he came off, and I gave him a hug off stage. But I was just so proud of him, you know, to get out of his comfort zone to do that. When someone does something like that, like it's such a proud moment.
Yeah. No, I think I value my friendships with people that can do that for me, because a lot of people are afraid of me. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it's like, dude, you have no idea. I have way more respect for you if you can call me on my shit.
Yeah. Yep. Same. Well, because you have that warmth too, so you may run into what I run into a lot is a few different things. One, everyone I meet, they become my best friend, so then it becomes kind of weird. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is I create this thing where people don't want to offend me. Like, I've created I've opened the door that like, hey, I'll call you out. I'll be brutally honest with you, but then you won't say it back to me sometimes, because I don't, like I said, like that's why Dr. Gabrielle Lyon goes, who do you not hit it off with? You know what I mean? But you want to still let people know, like, hey, man, the door's open for you to give me feedback too. You know what I mean? But there's an art to that too. Yep. You have to show that you're open to it, right? So like if you and I don't know each other, you know, that long and that well, but like eventually I would have to show you that I'm open to feedback by not giving you feedback first, asking like, hey man, when I was speaking to Steve about the thing, I think I fucked up. What do you think of that? You know what I mean? Like, stuff like you need to show someone that you can't just give feedback first.
Right.
Take it and show, hey, the door's open. You know what I mean?
So far in our relationship, here's what I have gathered though, is that we're both like open to, like, obviously, you know me, I'm not so arrogant to where like I'll shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah.
Right. We trained together, you know, way more than me. Right. And that was like so valuable to train with somebody like yourself that was able to correct a lot of things that I know I have wrong, but you were able to coach me in a way like, you know, again, and I've been lifting weights and I'm big.
Yeah.
I'm bigger than you.
Sure. Of course.
No, I'm kidding. But you know, I don't know it all. And, you know, that's why, like, you know, it was valuable to train with Flex Wheeler, you know, and then, but, you know, and my coach is Brandon Beckrich, and I haven't had a chance to train with Brandon in person, but from what I understand, Brandon is like next level when it comes to form, when it comes to cadence and all of that good stuff. I just run his online program. Yeah. But he's moving out here.
Oh, sick.
He sold his gym, Iron Rails. Evidently it's like the sickest gym in Indiana. Wow. Which I don't know what that says. Thinking like Gary. Yeah. But I will tell you that I've been coached by him for 2 months now, and it has been just like, I feel it. Like, I feel amazing. He has everything so dialed in. Like, you know, I've had a number of coaches that have, like, you know, given me my meal plans, given me like all that stuff, but he has everything so timed and so dialed in that I've just my training frequency is like amazing, that I feel so good. Wow. So now it's like I want more. I want more correction, like training with you, right? You know, this was our first meeting on a project, like together in person, right? And we were sitting here with Steve doing this kind of stuff right here, you know, and plotting and putting together, like, you know, a plan to execute. And it was getting kind of going all over the place, right? So it was like time to, like, we were able to like kind of control each other in that situation, where I believe that we got a decent amount accomplished. Now we got to execute it, right? Yeah. And that's what it's like. My whole thing is always execution. Yeah. You know, these guys will tell you I'm demanding. Yeah, you heard it. I am fucking demanding. I want the shit done yesterday. Yeah. No, like, you know, no planning, like, without execution. It doesn't even make sense to me. Don't even waste my fucking time. Right. Yeah. So now we have it on a whiteboard. Yep. Time to go. Hell yeah. And the listeners have no fucking clue what we're talking about. Right. Which is bueno. Muy bueno. Yeah. You're going to find out. Yeah. No, it's super fun to collaborate on stuff with people that you have a good relationship with, and, you know. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah, synergy is everything in collaboration, that's for sure, and especially when you have the same desired outcome and the same intent. Yeah. Right. Intention is, in this industry, what I've learned is intention is so key, because it exposes you faster than anything else, and faster than any other industry. Right. Mm-hmm. When you're trying to serve men or women or whatever you are, when you're trying to provide a life-changing service to them that is non-tangible, inward, outward, if your intention isn't there, you stink. Yeah. You reek. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. Which is why I think that we become successful at this, right? It's like we have the right intention. Yeah. We can talk about it all day long, but we fucking prove it every single day. Mm-hmm. So wake up. Sorry. Yeah. You know? Well, you can see that you care, which is so important. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking A. So important. This got me out of the auto industry. Yeah. And I didn't intend it to. Yeah. I just wanted to do this because I fell in love with Alcoholics Anonymous, and I loved helping guys get sober. So I was like, why don't I take all the things I'm good at helping guys do and just try to, like, make a coaching business out of it? Mm-hmm. I made all the money. I was fine. Yeah. But I didn't think it was going to take me to this level. Yeah. No plan of that. But, you know, 18K turned into 35 into 100. And then next thing you know, it's $250,000 a month, you know, later. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Right. You know? Yeah. And then, you know, cleaning up other people's mistakes too is like another, like, you know, just a pretty valuable thing that happened because it's like, you know, you witness it all over the place where those ill-intentioned people out there are getting over on others. And it's like, you know, if you know how to work smart and work hard, you're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a Midwest motherfucker, car business guy, you know, with a Midwest work ethic, and then teach him the tools.
But that being said, if you didn't truly care, you wouldn't be as successful.
No.
Because people can see that.
Yeah.
I saw that from day one, you know?
Yeah.
Just because a lot of people don't care.
No, right.
They just want to make money.
Well, no, and you know, you see it, you know, and obviously I have a lot of people that are in service industry coming to me, and I look at their profiles, I look at the stuff, I look at the way they DM me. And when they DM me and I look at my phone and I'm like, ugh. You know, if I can smell it that fast, now of course I'll be able to smell it faster than your normal potential client.
Yeah.
But if I open up my phone and it's like you've said 6 words and it stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but you have people watching you for 90 seconds on a reel.
Yeah.
You don't think that fucking reeks?
Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever. You know, but again, it's a brilliant industry where there's no barrier to entry and most people are amateurs.
Yep.
Fucking A. Well, we need to eat. This was fun.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about or get into it or no?
What do you want to talk about?
Whatever.
Well, that fucking
yeah. I don't know. What holds people back? I mean, I don't know. Anything. I mean,
well, that's a real good question. What in your eyes, when you've dealt with so many men and women, but let's talk about men that are mid-30s. Mm-hmm. What's the main thing that's holding them back? 1, 2, 3. No.
I mean, really, everybody. I think confidence is the ultimate superpower, and everyone just needs to improve their confidence. Even The Rock would benefit from having more confidence, because I'm fortunate enough that I know so many high-level people who are on TV, authors of your favorite books, whatever, actors, and you would not believe how they are behind closed doors. And so I think someone who's, let's say, mid-30s, you know, working a job that they don't love or whatever, they're like, yeah, but The Rock or this person can't relate to me. They don't have those self-limiting beliefs. They don't have that baggage. They don't have these confidence issues. Yes, they do. They have all of them, because I've had the one-on-one conversations with them a million times.
Right.
I've been backstage. I know. I've seen it. I've seen people throw up before going through the curtain. They all have the same shit. I have close personal relationships with a lot of those people. They have the issues with their family, with their parents, with their upbringing, all these things. Everybody's the same. It's the human condition. It's we have all of this, right?
Right.
So everybody has those things. It's just, do you choose to be a slave to that, to live up to that false narrative for the rest of your life that, you know, whatever, you're this way. Oh, my family never made more than $100,000. Everybody's shy and introverted. That's how I've always been. The glass is half empty.
Right.
Whatever. Do you choose that path, or do you choose to say, like, hey man, this is how it's been, but like, I'm going to face the fear, right? Like,
right.
Why do you know, Seinfeld has that line where he jokes about everyone's number one fear is public speaking, whereas if they were at a funeral, they'd rather give the eulogy. I mean, they'd rather be in the casket than give the eulogy.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it's like, why don't you do that? People have, like, you don't go into the gym and the first time you can only squat 95 and think, I'll never squat more than 95, right? Like, you know.
Right.
You don't start playing an instrument thinking, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'll never be able to play a C chord. But for some reason, people have this ceiling and these limiting beliefs on certain things that, oh, I'll never get better at that. Like, we were even talking about communication at the start. Like, of course you can get better at it.
Right.
You can get better at anything you put your mind to, but like, do you choose to just live in that box and have that false narrative forever? And again, all those people, The Rock and everyone, have those confidence issues, but they fucking go through the curtain and do it. So why don't you do it? Right. Why don't you choose to do it, right?
So confidence is built off of repetition, right?
Exactly. Just doing the things doing the challenging things over and over again.
So if you're going to coach somebody on becoming more confident, then your job is to expose the areas that they need to repeat over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm a huge wrestling fan, which I know you can relate to, is like, you take your personality up to a 10 when you're out with people, when you're out at dinner, when you're out, however. And for you, for us, right? Yeah. You might think you're at a 10. We're like, that guy's at a 5. But it's out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Like, every day, push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. Just doing mundane things, whatever, stupid, simple things, right?
Yep.
Make faster decisions. When you go to a restaurant, make the decision of what you want to eat faster, right?
Right.
Like there's all small little things every day. When you're with 6 guys and they go, hey, which bar do you want to go to next? You're the one who goes, we're going to go to O'Brien's, right? Like just take small little steps to be a better leader, to be more, you know what I mean? Just to make faster decisions. All these things all day, like everything fucking matters. You're being judged all day.
Right.
You can improve from the second you wake up to the second you go to sleep.
So, but are you, when you're talking about premeditated decisions, is that premeditated? When I sit down,
no, I mean, that's improv, right? Making fast decisions, right?
Right. Well, you're saying order faster, right? Like if I'm a steak and potatoes guy, right? You know what I mean? Are you suggesting?
I'm just saying if you're someone who deliberates and overthinks, right?
Oh yeah.
Push yourself just to make simple decisions fast. That's what I mean. Like,
well, it's hard for me to imagine this because I don't overthink. I don't think at all.
No, I know.
I don't think.
I've gotten that. Yeah.
I just go.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care anymore, like to like think about shit. And you know, again, like, yeah, I want to have like a good plan and stuff like that, but fuck overthinking.
Right.
Analysis paralysis is the fucking worst.
It's the worst. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, but I've also failed, been told no, the rejection, the failure, the fucking mountains to climb. You know, when you've done, well, you're right. It is. Confidence is all built off of repetition, 100%.
And then when you fail, and that could be failing in a variety of different ways. It could just be a one-on-one conversation, like, oh, I thought it was going to be better, but like, get back on the horse the next day, get back on the bike the next day.
Correct.
Don't let yourself get down about it. Like, oh, that sucked. I'm never going to do it again.
Right. Well, that reinforces what we just talked about with your circle and with having the people that are going to be there to call you out. Okay. I need somebody to correct my posture.
Yeah.
Right. Not in the gym, in general.
Yeah.
And so I get ART and stuff like that. And I have a guy that works on me every week. He comes to my home and I asked him, I'm like, can you do something for my posture? And he said, yes. I'll tell your wife to tell you to correct your posture every time she sees you slouch. And I'm like, okay. He's like, posture's behavior.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like anything. It's all behavior.
Yep.
So to correct my posture, my wife has to tell me stand up straight. Brandon Chapetti's wife, Lisa, or Lindsay. Why did I just say Lisa? Lindsay tells me constantly, correct your posture.
Yeah.
You know, and she'll be like 10 drinks in, shit faced and be like, correct your posture, stand up.
Yeah.
You know, but what I guess my point is like, this reinforces your circle. This is just what we were just talking about.
You have to have that. Yeah. I have a friend, I'm not going to name him because people would know him. We were out with a bunch of people one time over the course of a weekend. We were at an event somewhere. I don't think we were speaking. We were just attendees. And probably 5 times I heard people say, what, excuse me, or lean in when he was speaking. I said, bro, you can't do that. You're a leader. You're supposed to be an effective communicator. The second someone says what, like fucking pick up on that and speak louder and more clearly and more effectively throughout the weekend. Like, remember who the fuck you are, you know? And so I have relationships with friends where I call them out and they'll call me out like that. And he's like, oh, dude, thanks for saying that.
Yeah, well, it is important to remind yourself because sometimes you're not conscious to what level you're at, right? Where you just said, like, you may have thought you were at a 10, but you were at a 5. Like, there are nights that I feel lame, you know? And then there's nights where I feel like on top, you know, like that I'm the fucking cat's meow when I'm out. And it's like, unless you're, and it usually typically is my surroundings. It usually is like, if I'm excited to be around people, and I think that's how it is for everybody.
Yeah.
But the challenge for me in this conversation would be to, no matter what, turn it up.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. I'm not going to let people see me less than a 10. So if I have to force myself, it's fucking 9 o'clock and I go, I guess I got to drink a Red Bull and I'll sleep 2 hours. I have to do it. Because and you said something earlier. You said you're mentoring me and some stuff. Well, of course, because I'm not going to go into any relationship that I don't add value to. Right. Even if we didn't have any kind of relationship like this, like if we were just going to brunch, I'm coming in at a 10. I know we're going to have fun. I know we're going to laugh. I know we're going to play games, stuff like I'm not going to let someone see me in any setting at less than a 10. Yep. Now, sometimes I might have the flu or I might fucking not, and I might just say, dude, I'm not coming. Right. Like, I don't want to show up half-ass. I want you to see me a certain way and know when Jay gets here, fucking things are going to be more fun. That's brilliant. Like, that's it. I'm bringing that to the table 100% of the time. And I think everyone should put that pressure on themselves. Like, I know wherever I go, it's better when I get there. Yep. Now, I didn't know that or think that at all 15 years ago because I had no fucking self-confidence. Yeah. But I've done the repetition to do it now, and I know I have the evidence. It's not just in my head like, oh, that guy's an egomaniac. It's like, No, everyone fucking knows
Well,
that.
yeah, you're the mayor of Santa Monica, man.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Yeah. But I take that seriously. Like, and I have friends that are in high positions. And they're like, yo, can you make sure you're early at dinner? Because I know the guys are gonna have way more fun if you're here than just me. You know what I mean?
Middle of the table.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah. Wait, did we not have this conversation? That's crazy.
No, we've talked a number about Curb. But
listen to this. I can't believe you just said that. One of my favorite compliments ever, Dr. Sean Pastuch. We were in Austin, Texas, and I fucking commandeered this room. It was somebody else's event, and I'm running this shit. Everyone's having the greatest time of their fucking lives, right? I'm losing my voice. The next morning at brunch, I walk in as him and his wife, and he goes, we just said, we were talking about that episode of Curb. Yep. I go, Jay, you're a world-class middle. And I was like, that's the greatest.
You're the middle. You can't have him middle. You got to have Jay middle. That's, that episode's
what?
Great.
She can't middle? No. She's an end the best.
Yeah. You are middle of the table. I pride myself for also being able to be a middle of the table, unless I'm at a table with my father, then it's like, fuck, I don't even fucking compete. I just let him take over. But it's another conversation.
But it's interesting there that you brought up your dad and immediate family and whatnot, because a lot of people can evolve and outgrow self-limiting beliefs or false narratives with other people, but then they go back home and it's like, oh, I'm the same kid I was when I was 18. That's the next level of Jedi mind tricks, when you can go home and positively influence your family, your friends that you've known forever, or just not let them fuck you up, because maybe you can influence them. But maybe you can just not let them turn you back into 18-year-old you. You know what I mean?
Correct. No, and as a matter of fact, a lot's changed since I left the auto industry. And of course, I didn't work for my father and stuff like that. But I did, years back. But when I left my own position, and I had a pretty high up position here in Orange County, and when I was able to actually, like, even when I had achieved like a massive role in an auto group, right? Like, he was like, all right, cool, I'll go to work, right? But then when I built my own small business, and then when I built my own agency, and now it's like, okay, you're sitting at the table, like, as not my son, but as also like my son, right? But as a self-made situation, right? Because before I was an employee, right? But the minute that I was self-made, it was like a totally different ball game. And now it's like so funny because I get DMs. And my dad travels the world, right? He's like constantly all over the place. And I get DMs from random fucking people. Just the other day, people were like in the Bahamas, right? And they're like, I'm with your dad, and I cannot believe how much he loves you.
Wow.
And they'll DM me because he's sitting there with Instagram open, showing them, this is my son. This is what my son's built. Look at my son. And these people DM me, and they're like, I'm with your dad right now. And I've never, ever met a father that loves his son and is so proud of his son like you.
Wow.
And I'm like, and it's like constant, like this is like on a weekend basis. Now, of course, he's fucking drunk and he's like having the time of his life. But at the same time, it was like, what was I missing before that I didn't have that I have now? And as a son, it's like, you're always seeking your father's approval, but it was like, now it's this new level of confidence because I did it. I literally ate the shit, I fucked up so many times, and now that it's like I've had this repetition and this constant grind day after day after day after day after day, and avoiding the instant gratification and focusing just on that end goal, or more importantly, focusing on what's in front of me for a second.
Yeah.
He had to text me later on because I got off the call abruptly afterwards. I told him, I really appreciate you saying this. I needed to hear that. And then I got off the call abruptly and he had to text me later on. He's like, I can feel it. You're fucking in your head. I'm like, I am. Because that's not me. That's not my heart. That's not the person I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's always things you could work on with that and always get better. That's what's fascinating and exciting about it to me. Like something that a lot of people don't do when they have no awareness of is they telegraph that they're going to say something next. So if you and I have a conversation, I just think of the most amazing fucking thing. Like, holy shit, I got to tell you this. But you're telling me a story. You should not be able to read that on my face or my body language at all. And the second you finish, now most people do this. The second you finish, I go, oh, dude, I got to tell you what happened on the drive down here. That just signifies to you that you didn't give a fuck about the story that was just told. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like just all those small things to be aware. That's why I think people should reread How to Win Friends and Influence People all the time. Like all those kinds of books.
I actually, because
you can't get, you just can't get to the point where you're like, I've mastered this. Right. You could always get better.
That book alone, that is like my Bible. And I like to read it from different frame of reference. And lately I've been reading it from my exact point of my career, and where I'm at in my life. And shit is flowing from it like it never has before.
Wow.
You know, I had to read it my freshman year of college. Okay. I had to read it senior year of college. Okay. Like it was like always issued, right? Like business. I went to a really cool business school, right? I read it again later on in my 20s. And then I read it twice in the course of a summer a few years ago. But then about 6 years ago. Okay. And I've always been a reader, but that book, like I just would always circle back to. But then when I really I read really fast. So I've talked about this. I don't want to get into that, but there's a whole nother story I could tell you about how I ended up learning how to read like faster than faster than the speed of light, bro. Like it's crazy. But I've been piecing it together lately, and I've been like recording myself, pitching ideas in like conversations, but just with myself. It's interesting. So it'll be like a podcast setting, and I'll like just communicate like my thoughts about this idea that I just read in How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay. But
I'll pretend like I'm talking to somebody.
Oh, interesting.
And it's turned out really cool how it's been kind of like, you know, you would think I was talking to somebody.
Yeah.
But just, it's been like a really cool way to like remember something and then like act it out to where like later on, I don't know. It's just an exercise I kind of came up with.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I create content where like I'm, you know, talking to my camera and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start like pitching ideas that off of a book that I read, specifically Dale Carnegie's. And it's been like a really cool way to not only retain it, but to like actually put it into work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like we go back to what we talk about improv. Like when you start to act it out, your mind is going to get used to that action, right?
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, like you feel comfortable exercising that thought, that idea, that principle.
Yeah. I think another thing that people should do is challenge their beliefs more. Like things you believe may not be true anymore. It may just be how you were raised and you stuck with that forever. And a lot of people don't even really audit the things that come out of their mouth, meaning you'll just meet someone who go, you know how you can't hire any good people these days? I'm like, no. You know how you can't trust anyone?
Oh my God.
No.
You know, it's funny.
You know how everyone's always out to get you? No, I don't know that. You know how Republicans are this? No, I don't have any of those things, but you have to work hard to get that, right? Like,
yeah.
And also people are judging you. So if I'm hanging out with someone for the first time and they're saying, you know how all millennials are this, you know how you can't trust anyone, you know how you can't hire anyone good. I'm like, I never want to see this guy again. I hate his whole worldview.
I hate that too.
Yeah, you know?
I can't believe you just I was waiting for somebody to pinpoint it because that is like a huge pet peeve of mine. And it is like, you know, I hate cliches for one, you know, like, dude, if somebody says to me, living the dream, you're out. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to go out of my way to
lose my number.
Yep. Yeah. Please don't ever call me or text me. And don't say live in the dream. You know?
Yeah.
Any cliches like right away, but then you're absolutely right. Like the kids these days, like you were surrounded by pussies too, you know, like every generation has pussies, you know, I just like this generation, like, okay.
Yeah.
Is a product of the circumstances that you laid out for us. Like I don't want to like, yeah, I just can't, I cannot engage with somebody like that. It's really hard for me.
Yeah. And people love this about me. Like I'm so ruthlessly honest and blunt because of my East Coast kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And so I'll just say it to them. I go, no. And they go, what? I go, no, I don't know how you can't trust anybody. Like, I don't know. That's not my worldview. That's not my experience. We talked about that
on the call the other day, that most people are good people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can't live my life around people like that.
No.
Who wants to be around that?
Yeah. And you're just, but that's all you're going to get. If you think you can't trust people, people will burn you left and fucking right. You'll just attract untrustworthy people. If you think all XYZ people are bad, you'll just meet all XYZ people and they'll be bad all the fucking time.
Yeah. That's what you're looking out for. That's what you're going to get.
Whatever you look for is what you're going to get, 100%.
You know, you're going to go, the car's going to go where your eyes are. Where you know, I mean, fucking A. I can't, man.
You attract that into your life.
Yeah. I'm so glad you put a pin in that for me, because it is like, it is such a turnoff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And people will say that to me. They'll be like, hey, and here's the thing too, like you, meaning you, me, Steve, whoever, you control how people act and how they talk in your presence. If you don't, you haven't mastered your social skills yet. People will be like, what the fuck does that mean? You have to take it upon yourself to do that. So if you have any negative, and we all have some kind of thing, right? But like, I should be good enough that you don't do that around me. Just by my actions, the way I carry myself, my posture, the way I speak, the way I make people feel, the way I address people, right? And you should take that same responsibility. Everyone should take that responsibility. So you can't say, like people say to me, oh, I don't like being with that guy. He's negative. Not around me, he's not. I don't like being around that guy. He's fucking this or that. I go, not around me, he's not. He doesn't do that. Even my brother or someone will be like, oh, mom's like this. Not with me, she ain't. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you influence people's behavior. How to win friends and influence people, right? Like you influence the behavior of everyone around you.
Right.
So if you're going to a negative, like if you have to go to Thanksgiving at a bunch of people's house where they're negative and complaining and depressed, go in there and fucking change them. Right. You know what I mean? Influence them positively.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going somewhere to be a fucking bump on a log and contribute nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm coming to make people better. It should be better because I was there. Right. Otherwise, what did I? Then I leave let down. Like if I leave that Thanksgiving and the people were the same as they always were and they brought me down, I was like, what a failure. What an epic failure that was on my part.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
I think it's selfish behavior. Like so many people are selfish by letting them. There's so many things that are selfish that you don't frame as selfish. Like not following your diet, not getting in good shape. That's selfish. You know what I mean? Not pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and stepping up to be a leader is selfish because nobody wants to do it. Like you and I don't want to eat fucking chicken. Like I want to eat chicken parm, not grilled chicken. I want to eat pizza, you know, and I want to eat ice cream and I want to fucking party and I want to do all these things. But like, it's selfish not to be the leader and the example and like, cause no one else wants to do it. So you set the example.
Correct. My question to you, and this is, I think, you know, I want to kind of end it with this, which is not ideal. At all, but I think that, and let me just really quickly think how I want to frame this because it made me think. As you develop this character, right? As you develop yourself, and this is it shouldn't be cautionary, and I don't believe that it is, but let me just come out and say it straight up. Once you know and you've developed the skill set in communication, in how you're supposed to act, in how you win friends and influence people, do you find yourself judging and cutting people out faster? And do you feel like you miss opportunity there?
So I think there's a progression. At first, I did. It's like if you turn vegetarian, you tell everyone, don't eat meat again. You got to be a vegetarian. Right. And then it's like, you go fuck yourself, dude. So I think the same thing happens with personal development and improving those kind of skills. Is like at first you fuck up and you do it all wrong, right? And you're judging everyone, you're cutting everyone out. You can't be around those people. Like I couldn't fly back to Jersey for 3 years because I thought, oh my God, they're going to turn me back into the old me. I'm not strong enough to do that yet, right? But now I can go into any setting with any negative person and be totally fine. But you have to get to that level. You have to work on it, right? So like I did cut a lot of people out that now I can hang out with and be totally fine. And I can raise them up. I can make them better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I cannot judge them because that's the problem too. When you first start on this aggressive personal development journey, or you're like, maybe hearing what we're saying, you're like, all right, I'm not good at communication, how to win friends and influence people. I'm going to go all in on that. And then, yeah, you do judge people.
Right.
But now I've learned not to judge anyone. Everybody's on their own path of personal development.
Right.
So if you're 5 chapters behind me, does that make me 5 times better than you? No. You might just be a chill dude that I envy. Maybe you're happy like just fishing and like, I have to be fucking relentless and working 24/7. I want some of what you have, right? Like, so I don't judge people anymore. It's like, you're totally fine where you're at. And that's, you're doing what I just said. You see what I'm saying? You're telegraphing your next question.
I know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so, fuck, man.
But you know,
this is why I need you.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there is, and I've gone through that where I judge people, like fuck that person. But it's like, nah, man, like do you, like do whatever. Like if I could just be in some positive influence, or I just come and I make you laugh. I don't necessarily have to be like, I hope that guy's going to work on his personal development because I was there tomorrow. Maybe I just made you laugh.
Yeah, I don't think in a self-righteous format. I don't think that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I did go through that though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You deal with that in sobriety too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Same with like vegans, right? Like,
yep. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Get their protein by telling
yeah.
Vegan, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
No, and I didn't want that to come off that way because I think I've stumbled into that as well.
Yeah.
But I have kind of. I've set my standards high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I do think that that's really important. But I think the next level when you graduate from setting your standards high is bringing people with you, right?
That's
that's the true level up.
Yeah. And sometimes, back to your question, like I'll see someone that I care about doing something. I'm like, fuck, they got to work on that. It's not a good look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm judging them or anything. You know what I mean?
No, I guess judging wasn't the right word.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. But yeah, because we've all done it. We've all gone through it,
Yeah, when you find somebody that's like overly transparent or like trite or like and it's tough.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I still want to play with people who are fucking leveling up, right? Like that's who I want to hang with.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm going to seek out people like you and Bedros and my other friends. That's who I want in my inner circle. That's who's coming over my house for the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
But again, I think I've gone through that evolution where now I can be with those other people who are maybe not at that level and be totally fine with it,
Yeah. I just want to be at your level. This was cool, man. I'm really stoked. This was like really spur of the moment.
Yeah.
It's so funny because we had a podcast scheduled for this time slot right here, and it obviously canceled. But I was like, we're gonna make adjustments.
Yeah,
like get down here. Fuck yeah! I'm gonna change my entire day for this, and I'm so glad that I did. So, if you guys watch this, if you like this, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment, share, all that good stuff. And Jay, right now, where do we find you at? What are you plugging right now?
Just go to j.fit and find everything there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes,
awesome.
sir. Yeah.
This was great, man. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome.